How's it going, everybody? Obviously, this is not the third part of the white oak vanity build. This is something different. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that build, and I'm kind of at a place right now where I want to get a video out, and there's something I've been focusing a lot on recently with my woodworking, and that's dust collection. I just released a video on a cheap Harbor Freight dust collector. That thing's great. The big thing that I'm trying to remove from my shop now is the fine dust particulates. That stuff is really bad to breathe. I've been woodworking for 10 years and I have not been taking those things seriously. I haven't had any adverse effects from it. However, I know long term it's not great. So I'm trying to mitigate any of those, fine dust particulates, fine dust in the air as much as I can. So that's where this thing comes in. This is a dust extractor from Fein. And we're going to unbox that in this video, and we're going to go through what it is, what it does, and why it's a good idea to have one in your shop. So let's get into it. Hey, real quick, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching these videos. I didn't think as many people would be as interested as they have been this quickly. And that's really cool. So I was going to continue to just, film myself doing this woodworking stuff because I've always really loved woodworking and I've always liked content. I used to film a lot of stuff when I was a kid with my neighborhood friends. It was never about woodworking, but we always had fun with a camera. And as an adult, it's just something I wanted to get back into. And I'm really happy that there's people out there who are interested in what I'm doing. And the channel just hit 100 subscribers this week. I released a few videos and quickly got that 100 subscribers, and I'm really proud of that, and I think it's cool. So I'm just going to keep releasing content as frequently as I can. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again to everybody who's been watching. It's really cool and I appreciate it. Okay, I brought the rigid up here just so we can talk about kind of the reason why you may want both of these in your shop as opposed to just buying one or the other, because they both have their uses and they both are good at what they're supposed to be used for. So I got by for a really long time with the shop vac. It's really good at removing a lot of dust from an area quickly. I think it actually does pretty well with a lunchbox style or a benchtop style planer, and it's gotten me by for a long time with keeping the shop clean, picking up the floor, and cleaning up tabletop work surfaces, cleaning up messes made by the planer and the joiner, and then hooking up directly to the joiner or the planer and removing that larger dust particulate. It does good at that. Certainly the larger unit that I just made a video about a while ago does an even better job of that. But as for mobility, Being able to move this from one station to the other in your shop, it's great. You don't have to run big hoses. It's got a hose attached to it. The downside is that once its filter clogs up, its suction rapidly gets reduced, and it just becomes less effective. You can run a bag on this, but I've never run a bag on it. I've just always used the filter, and like I said, it's good for what it's designed to do. It's great at that. It's great as a shop vac. The major difference between the shop vac and a dust extractor is that the extractor is going to remove a high volume of those small dust particulates, which are the things you don't want to be breathing. The large stuff is just going to fall to the floor. You don't really have to worry about shavings. Shavings aren't going to hurt your lungs. The dust, the fine dust that comes from woodworking tools, whether it be routers or track saws or the domino, anything that is removing a lot of small pieces, and while it may throw larger shavings, there's a lot of fine dust wrapped up in that. And that's the stuff you want to avoid breathing. And that's what I'm really trying to do in this year. I'm trying to improve all of those things about my workflow. I'm not only trying to be efficient, but I'm trying to be safe, because I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life. I love doing it. So one of those ways to get that accomplished is starting to care about wearing PPE, which I do. You'll see a lot of my videos. I wear Hearing Pro. I wear eye protection. The other thing is air quality. I run a vacuum, a large vacuum now, to remove some dust from machines such as the table saw. I run an air scrubber, and now I'll be running this with some of my smaller machines like the domino, like routers, in hopes to remove some of that fine dust, because I don't want to be breathing that. So yeah, major difference is this thing's really good at picking up big particulate, and you can see that when you run it. I'll fill this thing up quickly with with running the planer, and I'll still use this to run my planer. It does a fine job at that. And if you're really worried about things, throw on a mask and run this thing. But this will be used for some of the smaller pieces of equipment, such as the domino. And there's a couple of other little things, which is why this may be superior for that, and we'll get into that next. All right, I wanted to just bring you in closer to get you closer to the machine. I'll go over this machine real quick and why I bought it. So, Fein is a company that I'm pretty familiar with. I've used one of their other tools. I'm not aware of many more tools that they make. I used their oscillating tool a lot when I did construction full time for another guy, and he did have that tool, and he always called it a Fein tool. Maybe because they're the ones that invented that tool. I'm not actually sure about that, but I was aware of the company. And then most recently was made aware of this piece of equipment by watching a Mike Farrington video. Anyways, I saw this in his video, and I said to myself, why go buy the Festool version of this if I can get this for I think it's like a third of the price. So certainly better on the wallet. And then I read a lot of stuff about this piece of equipment, and it just seems like it's got pretty good reviews, good enough to where I don't think I should go buy the Festool dust extractor for much more money. So as long as I can get the job done with this, and as I use it, like I said with the central machinery tool, I'll keep giving feedback as we go along here with these other videos and telling you whether or not I think it's worth it or not. But if Mike Farrington is using it, and he's running like a woodworking business using this thing, I would say it probably does what it's supposed to do. So yeah, that's why I bought it. Also, a couple really cool things about extractors is obviously it's a smaller tube, so it's able to remove like with a lot of pressure, a lot of CFMs moving through that tube, so it gets the stuff away from the tool quickly, reducing how much dust you're breathing. But also, most of the times extractors come with this right here. So you flap this open, and it's a 110 outlet or 120 outlet designed to turn on when you're running the equipment. So you can see there's a plug option here. You set that to plug. Whenever you turn on the tool, the Fein dust extractor will turn on too. So yeah, I think that's really neat. It'll stay off until you engage the tool. Once you turn on the tool you're using, this extractor will turn on. So you're not running a vacuum the entire time. You're running it when you're using the tool, which is cool. So obviously, equipment that you would want to run with this, things that are going to create small dust, like the domino or sanders, like definitely sanders. So I'll be using this when I'm doing my sanding. But yeah, it's a really cool shop upgrade, and I'm glad I finally got one because it's definitely going to do my lungs some good running, doing this, for many years. So yeah, I'm going to give it a shot so I can see if there's like any noticeable difference while running these tools. All right, that was pretty cool. This thing definitely sucks some dust. It's gonna make the sanding pads last longer just because there's not as much heat building up because there's not dust being left on the surface. Yeah, it's really neat. The one tool I'm really interested to see it perform on is the Festool, the domino, because I use that a lot, and what I've noticed is I don't use dust extraction on it, and it's a pain in the butt running that tool without dust extraction, just because the chips build up inside of it and they get between the tool and the workpiece, and it can kind of throw off your dominoes if you're not constantly tapping it and cleaning it out. So yeah, let's see how it does with that. Real quick, I just want to say the only thing I was worried about was the fit over the Festool shroud, because this is not the Festool vacuum, and usually Festool kind of makes its entire fleet fit with itself, and it's all supposed to work as a system. So the only thing I was worried about was the Fein vacuum fitting the Festool, and as you can see here, like the fit is perfect. So it doesn't lock in like the Festool system does, but this will definitely do what I need it to do, and as long as this works for dust extraction, I think it was worth saving the money. So let's give it a shot. Yep, that works. Proof is in the pudding. So obviously, I just bought this thing. This is the first couple tests, really basic tests. I wouldn't even call it putting it through the tests, just more unboxing and getting it running and seeing what it does. And it's working the way it's supposed to work. And this is definitely going to help me out with workflow. I can already tell, just because that domino getting jammed up in between cuts is a pain in the butt. and having to keep slapping the tool to clear it out is a pain in the butt. So this is going to be awesome. I'm really, really happy with its performance, and I will keep checking in on that and going over that in later videos, because I'll continue to use this thing and put it through the test on building cabinets and all the other stuff we do on the channel. So really, really happy. That's really cool. I mean, I think I've not used the Festool brand dust extractor, and I'm sure it's amazing. Festool as a company makes really high quality equipment. If budget is an issue, which it is for a lot of people, and a lot of people out there are hobbyist woodworkers and they're doing this on the weekends, this is what you need. You don't need to go buy the fancy stuff. This thing can do what you need it to do if you're a hobbyist woodworker. I wouldn't even second guess it. Festool is not the only extractor out there. There's Bosch makes one, DeWalt makes one. I think even Harbor Freight, they have a brand. I think Hercules makes one. I've looked into all of them. I've looked at all of the reviews. I looked around for a really long time for an extractor before pulling the trigger on this one. This is the cheapest one that I found. I think it may be cheaper than the one at Harbor Freight. I will double check that. But the link for this is going to be in the description below. Obviously not sponsored by anybody. Like, I'm just a guy in my shop. I would recommend this tool if you're looking for an extractor. This thing is great. It's mobile. It's got wheels. It's it's working for what I need it to work for currently. So really cool. And another quick one, if you're running your tool on this, if you're not just using it as a vacuum, you're running a tool on it, like a sander or whatever, and you have it on that setting, as you saw in those videos, those little clips, the extractor is going to continue to run after you turn your tool off, and that's to remove all of the dust that's still in the line. So yeah, that happens with all the tools. I think the Festool one's pretty quick because it's got a lot of power, so it gets that dust out of there really quick, so it doesn't have to run for as long. This runs for a little long. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter to me. You should be wearing hearing protection anyways, so in terms of like volume and how loud stuff is, it doesn't bother me. I'm going to be wearing hearing protection. Yeah, so just another little thing. It definitely continues to run after you're done using the tool. Not a big deal to me. Also, I want to touch on something. Again, I want to reiterate, one does not replace the other. They're both used for two different jobs. Cleaning your shop, get a shop vac. Don't wreck one of these and spend the money on one of these to do a thing that thing is totally capable of doing. The rigid shop vacs are great. I've had that one for 6 or 7 years. It's great. They hold up really well. All this stuff, it's the same stuff. It's all molded plastic. Like, they're all made out of the same crap. They all got different brand names on them, but that thing, it does well. The other thing that I wanted to touch on about this unit was it comes in two different sizes. I've got this is called the Turbo 1, and then there's a Turbo 2. From what I could tell, the major difference between the Turbo 1 and the Turbo 2 was that the Turbo 1 was smaller. Also, the Turbo 2 came with attachments. The attachments looked like they would be used for cleaning your shop. If you're not going to use this because there's a whole world where like you can use dust extractors for things. I did a lot of lead abatements in the past, and we had to use dust extractors that were HEPA dust extractors. This has a HEPA filter in it. You could use it for things like that as well, which you would want those attachments for. If you're going to be using this purely for woodworking, purely for dust extracting off of tools, this tool, this Fein dust extractor, comes with this hose. I think it's a 13-foot hose if I'm not mistaken, and it comes with this end, and this end is the adapter that goes into tools like your sanders, your crosscut saws, like dominoes, all of the small machines. This fits all of those machines. So it comes with this hose, it comes with this adapter, it comes with wheels in the extractor. Like, that's all that came in this box. Came with a bag. That was cool. Yeah, it's very basic kit. I think this kit's set up to do woodworking. Certainly if you were going to be doing lead abatements, or if you were going to be doing some kind of heavy duty cleaning where like you need to get in there with a lot of detail, you would want the bigger kit with all of the gadgets and gizmos. I don't need that. I didn't want that. I wasn't willing to pay the extra. I think it was 200 or 250 bucks. This is all I need for what I'm going to be using this for. But keep that in mind when you go to purchase something like this. Oftentimes there's different levels of every piece of equipment. Festool has like tiers and on what they have with their extractors. So pay attention to that. Think about what you're going to be using the equipment for before you make the purchase. Make sure you buy the right thing. I'm a big proponent of buy once, cry once. I like to buy really good equipment so I don't have to buy it again. I would say like this thing is good. Even though the price is favorable to the wallet, it's still a good piece of equipment. So think about this. Think about Fein when you go to buy a dust extractor, because I've not seen a lot of them out there. I've not seen a lot of people using them. It's all Festool, and I've seen the Bosch and the 3M. So like, keep this thing in mind. If you're trying to save some money, go with this guy for sure. I think it's a good piece of equipment. I think it's going to serve you well.
Thanks again for watching, everybody, and don't forget to like and subscribe.